Hey guys, so one of my most requested videos is for me to talk about my new lift and tyres that I got in the Pajero. So as you guys know, in October I got new Dobinson's lift, which in the front I'm running a pre-assembled Dobinson's 2 to 3 inch adjustable, and then in the back I got 250 kilo coils with the Dobinson's monotube shocks. So I'll leave them in the description of this video, what I got and how much I paid for them. And if you guys haven't watched the install video, I'll be leaving it up, the link on the top of this video, so check that out. I've never installed a lift kit before. It was my first time, didn't really know much of what I was doing, but I can say successfully, if my car hasn't fallen apart in the last few months, it's been alright. I've been forward driving up 5 Rocks. As most of you guys know, I went on a nice little solo road trip for a few weeks where I went up to Bowen and back, so I've done a fair bit of driving. I've had a good hot minute to test out the new lift and tyres, so I'll talk about that. A lot of people are asking me for the clearances, so at the very end of this I'm going to measure it and tell you guys what my clearances are, but I will say it has made a huge difference. So before this new lift and tyres I had just King Springs. You know, they were pretty terrible. I can show you guys a picture of what they looked like, but they were pretty worn out. So they were just King shocks, just a normal 2-inch lift. Originally when I bought the Pajero, it already came with those, so God knows how long they were actually installed for, but I've had this car for I think about 4 years or so now, so they were at least 4 years old. I think that they were new on the car, so they were quite old, and although it was a 2-inch lift, I don't really think it was a 2-inch lift anymore. And then I was also running BFGs in 265/70/17. So as you guys can see, I've switched to Falcon Wild Peaks. And the main reason is my BFGs started getting a few cracks in them. I'll wait for that helicopter to pass. So the reason I ended up changing to the Falcon Wild Peaks is because I had my BFGs for about 2 years in total, and I ended up popping my rear left tyre about a year into owning them, and I got a new tyre fitted on, and that one, and I don't know what happened, but that one seemed to be deteriorating more than the other ones that were, the other 3 on the car that were here for even longer. But yeah, I just found the BFGs started getting a lot of cracks. You'll see me talk about in a lot of my other videos, and you'll even see on that lift install that there was a few deep scratches even on the inside of the tyre. There was a fair decent chunk of the face of the tyre missing, so I desperately needed to change that, and I went to Falcon Wild Peaks. They've got a pretty good name. I was tossing up between Maxis and the Falcons. If you are looking at getting the Falcon Wild Peaks, have a look at getting a light truck tyre, so you get a couple mil extra tread. I think it wasn't, I'm trying to think if there was much of a price difference. I honestly can't remember off the top of my head, but if you are going to go for a Falcon Wild Peak, make sure that you pick that light truck tyre. Yeah, this is a 285/70/17, so it is a 33-inch tyre, so it is a little bit bigger than what my standard BFGs were, because they were only a 265/70/17. So not only have I gained an extra inch of lift, or possibly even 2, because like I said, that 2-inch lift that I had originally, I don't even know if it was at a 2-inch lift, but now I have a 3-inch at the front because it's a 2 to 3 inch adjustable, and I've got it set to that 3. So I've gained about at least an inch in lift, and then another inch in my actual tyre size. So I have found that my bash plate as well has been copping a few less hits, which is good. If you've seen my bash plate, you also know that it is absolutely scratched to the shit house. Yeah, I'll say with this extra 2 inches in lift that I've got from the lift and the tyre combined, it has been astounding how much extra clearance I've got while out four-wheel driving. So I'm pretty used to my car. I've obviously had it for 4 years. I've been off-road quite a fair few times, and I usually know when I'm going down a track if I'm going to bottom out on it, and you know, I sort of like clench my teeth a little bit and go, oh, we'll just send it through it. And that happened a couple times while I was on this little solo road trip of mine, where I was like, oh shit, we're gonna scrape on the bottom, and surprisingly it didn't bottom out. I haven't bottomed out since having it, so it makes a huge difference to go up that extra tyre size of 2 and the lift. So I highly recommend going with a 2 to 3 inch adjustable, and to, you know, try to get a 33 if you can. As for scraping, I haven't noticed any scraping apart from when I'm out four-wheel driving and I'm on a full lock, so my steering wheel is fully turned. It might just scrape a tiny little bit, but it was only on my passenger side. So I've stuck the tape measure into here, and I have about 50 mil of clearance, so I haven't been scraping too much. It only sort of happened the first week or two of owning it, and then I think it was like only just a millimeter of the tire that was really hitting, so I wouldn't really classify it as much scraping. As for fuel economy, I haven't noticed too huge of a difference. I do obviously have a bull bar on the front of my car, I have a roof rack, I have my solar panel, I also have my drawers, my fridge. I have a lot of weight in this car, and you know what, my fuel economy is not that bad. It's obviously not as great as a standard car. Although the Pajero's got an 88 litre tank, normally when my fuel light turns on and I fill up, it will take anywhere between 70 to 75 litres of diesel. So if you guys can do the calculations if you like, but so 70 to 75 litres of diesel will get me about 600 k's. So I think that that's fairly good. My little computer on the inside of my car that tells me my fuel economy is totally wrong, because that sometimes tells me that I'm doing 13 or 14 litres per 100 kilometres, but I know that that's not true, because if you average out how much I actually do, getting about 600 kilometres out of 70 to 75 litres is pretty good if you're asking me. That's like one of the big reasons why I went with the Pajero as well, because it seems to have fairly good fuel economy. But yeah, so we're running the 2 to 3 inch adjustable Dobinsons at the front with the Falcon Wild Peaks in a 33 inch tyre. So technically here at the front we're at a 3 inch and 33, while in the back we've just got a normal 2 inch and, you know, the Falcon Wild Peaks. So yeah, I'll get this and I'll measure up. So my total clearance, also don't mind my snapped in half tape measure, it still works the same. So from the ground up to here, we're looking at around about 960, which I don't know what it is standard on a standard Pajero. So if you have a standard Pajero, feel free to write the measurements down below to compare. I'll try to find online what it normally is. And then I'll go from my center of my hub to here. We're looking at about 560 to 570. So like I said, I'm not 100% sure what the standard is. I'll double check. I remember measuring when I first put the lift in, so I'll see if it's sagged at all, but I don't think it's sagged since I've installed it, maybe like a couple mil or whatever. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at here. As you can see, we've still got plenty of clearance here from the front of the tyre. Here at the back, we're looking at about 50 mil, still in that full lock. I haven't had any problems with scraping on this side. I had just that tiny little bit of scraping on the passenger side, but it has been months since I've had any scraping, and it only happened when I was on full lock, out four-wheel driving, hitting a bump or whatever. I'll also just measure here from my side steps as well, which is 380, which yet again, I will try to find what the standard measurements are. This obviously isn't the factory side steps, so I don't know if they do sit that little bit lower or not. I'm guessing they would be pretty much on average with what the standard side steps are. Also highly recommend getting yourself a pair of these over the factory ones, because the factory ones don't hold up too well while out four-wheel driving. Right, and I'll measure the back. Here we're looking at around about 930, and from the center hub we're looking at around about 540. So that's pretty good. Like I said, I don't think it's sagged or anything since owning it. So I do have a lot of weight. I got my drawers, my fridge, my dual battery system. Yeah, I got a lot of weight in the back there. That's why I got that 250 kilo springs. I don't think that they go any higher than that, or at least the company that I bought it through, they didn't have any more than the 250 kilos. I think I was looking at getting 300. So maybe look and see, you know, if you want to get the 300 if you've got a lot of weight in the back of your car. Also here at the side, I've got my bull bar at the front, and I got my bash plates that run a good length of my car, and they have a lot of weight in it too. So I did ask for, you know, a bit of a stronger suspension because I do have a lot of weight in there. The company I bought it from was called 4Wheel Drive Me. It's not sponsored in any way. They didn't pay me. I didn't get any cool discounts or anything. But yeah, I bought the kit off eBay, and I bought each thing separately. I'll put the prices in description as well. As my eBay subscription, I saved about $100 on each item I bought. So I bought the front pre-assembled, and then I bought the rear coils on the back separately, and the rear monotube separately, and I saved about $100 on each. So that's why I ended up going through eBay. But there's a lot of other companies that you can actually go to. If you want to actually speak to someone in person, maybe go down to your local shop and they'll be able to help you out a little bit better. But yeah, I knew what I was looking for, so I just went on to eBay, did that, free shipping, and then I obviously installed it myself, so I saved a lot of money installing that. I'll also take the camera around to the front here and I'll show you what the clearance is from the bash plate. Yeah, it's honestly made such a huge difference. It doesn't take much. That extra inch or two has saved me so much from hitting my bash plates because, yes, I'm sure you guys have seen before, my bash plates are absolutely scratched. So maybe it'll be time to give them a fresh coat of paint and give them a sand back and a fresh coat of paint. Yeah, anyway, so I'll do that. Also, if you guys have any other questions about the lift, leave a comment down below and I'll try to get back to it. Do another video, maybe an update video in 6 months time on how the lift's been going. But honestly, haven't had any problems. Like I said, made it up 5 rocks. The only thing that I found when I went up 5 rocks, I think that there was like a tiny little bit less power in my car from the lift and the tires. But also when I went up 5 rocks, it was like peak dry season. There had been no rain for absolute weeks and the track was absolutely shocking. It was just as soft as anything. I still made it up first go, so I didn't have any problems making it up Big Sandy. Those of you that have been up Big Sandy know that, you just got to floor it down there. But I did find that I really had to put my foot down flat to be able to make it up. Well, I haven't really had to do that before, but like I said, I've never been when it's been completely dry. There's normally 2 creek, I would really call them creek crossings, but there's 2 little water crossings normally before you get to Big Sandy that I've been in before, that they've come up to here before on my car, and when I went the other month it was down to here, there was nothing in it, so it was as dry as a bone. Yeah, so that could have played into it, but yes, maybe I've lost a little bit of power as well. I also do have a Toolkit exhaust arriving in the next week or 2 hopefully. It's arriving in the next week or 2, whether or not if I install it in the next week or 2, so keep an eye out. Maybe in the next month or so I might have an install video on the Toolkit exhaust. I'm going to try to install it myself. I've also never done that, but I'm hoping that will give me a little bit more power. Yeah, so yeah, just leave any comments you have below. Let me know what lift you guys have got. If you guys recommend anything, let me know. Alrighty, so I'll show you guys what the clearance is from here down to there. I'll also say a bonus of getting the lift and tyres is it has also made it that tiny little bit easier for me working underneath my car. There is so much more room for me to wiggle down under there. Let me measure this up though. Alrighty. We're looking at around about 350 mil. I don't know if this is going to focus or not, but I'm going to pick up the camera and I'm going to show you all of the scratches and stuff that I have underneath. I don't know if you guys can see, but she's definitely taken a few good hits here and there. So bash plate has done its job. Obviously these are old ones from a couple years ago, or maybe like 6 months ago, but since having the lift I haven't scraped any of these out. Also, just don't mind and don't look that they're not actually currently held in. They're only held in by 2 screws, because anyone that knows bash plates, when your bash plates get hit, the little nut on the other side of this falls out. So I've chucked some riv nuts in there, but I didn't line them up 100%, so the bolts can be very fiddly. But yeah, she still stays in place, a little bit of wobble. Maybe I'll get onto that so you guys don't think that I'm absolutely crazy for only having the bash plate held in by 2. But yeah.